Hi guys, this is Jonathan Lambert with the Mathematics Development and Support Service at National College of Ireland. And this video, another video in our series of videos dealing with the theory of interest, is another mortgage calculation example, okay, where we're going to apply the formula that we have previously derived in one of our earlier videos, the formula dealing with mortgages, sinking funds and annuities. We're going to apply it to this particular example. This example here is a little bit subtly different to the example that we had previously, okay? In the previous example, the question that was being asked was, how much is your annual repayment for a particular mortgage going to be? In this example here, the question that we're asking the bank manager is, how much will you give me for a mortgage, if that makes sense? So let's look at the scenario that I have here, okay? You have approached your bank manager to ask, how much could you afford to borrow for a mortgage, okay? You have told him or her, okay, that you can afford to repay 20,000 euros, 20,100 euros per year. That's equating to about 1,675 euros per month. Or if you want to think about this as dollars, you can afford to pay back $20,100 a year, which is about, your repayments is going to be about $1,675 per month. Okay, that's what you think, yeah, if that makes sense, what you can afford. Okay, and you would like a mortgage over 25 years. So you'd like to repay your mortgage back over 25 years. Okay. Okay, so we have to obviously set some other boundaries, and actually the bank manager will know the answers to these questions. Okay, if interest rates are fixed at 2.75%, how much can you afford to borrow? Okay, so the bank manager needs to tell you this. Okay, you're going to tell him how much you can afford to repay. You're going to tell him how many years you want to take the mortgage out over, okay? And he's going to figure out what the interest rate would be, and he's going to tell you how much he'll actually give you for a mortgage. So let's just recall, okay, that our mortgage formula, mortgage sinking fund and annuity formula, okay, but we're doing a mortgage calculation, is AN is equal to A0 times 1 plus I raised to the power of n, okay, plus F times 1 plus I raised to the power of n minus F all over I. Okay, where AN is the future balance of the account. Okay, A0 is how much you want to borrow, or how much you will be allowed to borrow. I is the interest rate. N is the duration of the mortgage in years, and F is how much you can afford to repay back, or it's what your annual repayments are going to be. Okay, this is an annual version of our mortgage sinking fund annuity relationships. Okay. So what have we got? What information do we know? Okay, we have to figure out what AN is. Okay, we have to figure out what A0 is. Okay, we have to figure out what I is. Okay, we have to figure out what N is, and we have to figure out what F is. Okay, so let's think about this. We don't know what A0 is, because that's what we really need to figure out. We want the bank manager to tell us how much we can afford to borrow. So A0 is question mark. AN, when it comes to a mortgage calculation, okay, now it doesn't always have to be, but for these mortgage calculations that we're doing here, we're assuming that after the 25 years of the duration of the mortgage, that the future value is equal to 0. In other words, you've repaid the mortgage. So in our scenario here, and in all of our other scenarios, AN for a mortgage is going to be equal to 0. I is the interest rate. In this case, the interest rate is 2.75%, which is 0.0275. N is the duration of the mortgage. You want it out over 25 years, so N is equal to 25. Okay. F is what your annual repayments can be. Okay. In this case, you can afford to pay 20,000 euros, 20,100 euros or $100. So the question now is, we've all the information to go into the formula. What is A0? So let's do that calculation now. Okay. So let's just rewrite down our formula. AN is equal to A0 times 1 plus I raised to the power of n, plus F times 1 plus I raised to the power of n minus F divided by I. And we know all the information. Okay, we know that AN should be 0. Okay, we don't know A0. We know that I should be 0.0275. N should be 25, and F should be 20,100. So we know all of our information. Okay, maybe I'll just write it down here again. AN for a mortgage is always 0. Okay, in our scenarios, A0 is question mark, that's what we're trying to find. The interest rate is 0.0275, it's 2.75%. N is equal to 25, the mortgage is out over 25 years. And F, our annual repayment, well, we can afford to repay annually 20,100 euros. So we're going to take all this information and we're going to plug it in here. So AN is 0, so that's 0 must be equal to A0, which we don't know, so leave it as A0, times 1 plus I, the interest rate, is 0.0275. And that needs to be raised to the power of n, the duration of the mortgage, which is 25 years, okay, plus F, which is 20,100, okay, times 1 plus I, which is 0.0275, okay, raised to the power of n, which is 25, minus, okay, minus F, which is 20.